Council agenda, Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, Township Council agenda meeting of April 3rd, 2018.
Introduction and posting of notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building and on the municipal website on December 20th, 2017, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December 27, 2017, and was forwarded by fax to other local newspapers on December 20th, 2017. Council meetings are videotaped and aired on the Public Access Channel 21 at 7 p.m. Sundays and Wednesdays, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net.
Please rise for the flag salute. Mrs. Peterson, if you would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Ms. Grignani?
Present.
Mrs. McCarthy?
Here.
Ms. Peterson?
Here.
Mr. Carriffy?
Here.
Also in attendance are Business Administrator Alan Sandman, Township Attorney Colette Madden, and the Township Attorney Jim Lott, and Township Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank
We
you.
also have our lovely mayor here.
Lovely?
I didn't hear, yeah, lovely.
I'll take it.
We
Yes,
won't go
and,
there, we'll get in a lot of trouble.
The mayor is also present to present a proclamation only.
He's still lovely.
Okay, upcoming meetings, April 17th, 2018 at 7:30 p.m., regular meeting, and May 1st, 2018 at 7:30 p.m., agenda meeting. Approval of minutes, agenda meeting February 6th, 2018, regular meeting February 20th, 2018, agenda meeting March 13th, 2018. Presentations, reports, Mayor?
Double Windsor.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call up the Women's Club of Parsippany.
Yes, you do.
This is good. You stay right there. You stay right where you are. I did promise the only time I would come to council meetings was to make presentations and proclamations. This is the legislative process that really has no place for the executive to be here. The executive branch should function on their own and separately, and not impede with what's going on here, unless, of course, the township clerk's tie is crooked. In that case, I have to check. Let me read this. This is tough material sometimes, but this is important and needs to be addressed. This is a proclamation from the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. And you know it's serious because I'm putting my old man glasses on. Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Proclamation. Whereas we all have a responsibility as individuals, neighbors, community members, and citizens of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills to help create healthy, nurturing, and safe experiences for children. And whereas healthy and safe childhoods help produce confident and successful adults. And whereas child abuse and neglect often occur when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and don't know how to cope. And whereas incidences of child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure all families have the support they need and deserve to raise their children in a healthy environment. And whereas it is recognized that no person can do everything, but that everyone can do something, and together we can create change for the better. And whereas effective prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among nonprofit organizations, government agencies, volunteer organizations, schools, service clubs, houses of worship, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas display a pinwheel or planting a pinwheel garden in April will serve as a positive reminder that all children deserve great childhoods, happy, healthy, and safe. Now therefore, I, Michael A. Soriano, Mayor of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, do hereby proclaim April 2018 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. and I urge all citizens to engage in activities that strengthen families and communities to provide the optimal environment for children to learn, grow, and thrive, so that all children have the benefit of happy, healthy, and safe childhoods. Dated this 3rd day of April, 2018. How about one with everyone?
Yeah.
How about one with everyone? Here, you hold. There you go. That's all right. It's life. Thank you very much.
Okay, Township Council.
I have a report from the library.
Okay.
The Friends of the Library gown sale for proms and other important events will begin this week. All area teens are invited to shop a wide variety of styles, sizes, and designer gowns priced at $15 a piece. I have the schedule if you're interested. I won't read it day by day. You can come up and ask me later on, or it's available on their website, and the dressing room will be set up in the lower level of the library. On April 4th at 7 p.m., tomorrow, the library will hold a free class about My Heritage, a database the public can use to research family history. The week of April 9th is National Library Week. Celebrity leaders from the township will be guest storytellers. Visitors to the library that week will see some interactive displays reminding them of the importance of libraries. On April 12th at 6 p.m., Cottage Flowers, a Parsippany-owned business, will demonstrate flower arranging. And on Sunday, April 22nd at 2 p.m., the library is very excited to present Joanne Young, the writer and producer of It's You I Like, the PBS documentary honoring the 50th anniversary of Mr. Rogers' premiere on PBS. Miss Young will show clips from the documentary, explain how she determined which of the Mr. Rogers shows to include, and talk about what it was like to meet the celebrities such as Michael Keaton, John Lithgow, and Sarah Silverman, and explain their connections to Fred Rogers. We are hoping that adults will attend what promises to be a wonderful program, along with high school and college communication students. Thank you.
Emily, what was the date again for that one, the Mr. Rogers?
The Mr. Rogers is Sunday, April 22nd at 2 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Township Attorney.
I have one thing for closed session tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. Business Administrator.
I was hoping that Ann Cucci could attend tonight, but unfortunately she was unable to make it. A couple of things that are related to the finances, of course the budget, but before I go into the detail on that, I would just like to state that because of the sensitivity of trying to get out into the market with regard to paving, before the budget is approved, and usually we wait for the capital ordinances to go, because we want to be the first kids on the block. The ordinance that is involved here is coming a little bit earlier, but it's on streets that we know are in the paving process. It's not like we're at that particular thing. So this is just something a little out of sequence, but for the right reasons. And the second one is also for a sewer project that needs to be done sooner than later. And again, we're doing it with under the auspices and the permission and authority of not only our finance backgrounds, but checking with the auditors as well as our bond counsel that we can do this, and it just gets it done a little bit earlier. All the other capital ordinances will be done during the budget process. As we introduce the budget, we'll introduce the new ordinances, and then when we pass the budget, we'll be passing the second reading for that. But that's what's on there. With regard to the budget per se, Ann and I spoke again today. We have finally finalized all revenue sources as well as the capital and the operating budget. This week we'll be meeting with the mayor to give him the mayor's budget as of now. Then we will, next week, we'll be meeting with the Finance Committee, so I'll be sending something. I believe it's Paul, yourself, and Janice, you're on that committee. I'll send up some dates. I know because of scheduling, it might have to be a little later in the day, but we'll make sure that we have the Finance Committee meet prior to the third week in April, where we'll be doing the budget presentations, where all the council will get their budget books prior to meeting with the department heads. So we're, again, back on track. I mean, snowstorms threw us for a loop, and then the flu hit us hard, and other things. But we're back on track. So, okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Township Clerk?
Just two things very quickly, Council President. Just to piggyback off of what Ellen was saying with regards to the capital ordinances, I just want to state for the record that the supplemental debt statement has been filed. We've met all the requirements, so we're all set on that end. And also for the non-consent agenda, number 3, there is a typo. I do apologize. It says in the parentheses 2016. It's supposed to be 2018. Just want to make that correction for the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
And while we're at it, in the to recognize that, you know, how well the administration works with the council, I would like to also thank our clerk, who helped put together an ordinance that a resolution that we needed to work with our OEM people. So I want to thank you publicly for that.
Thank you, Ellen.
Okay, thanks. I know you didn't take anything away from Jim on that one, right?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Offices, committees, any reports? Okay, engineering report. FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Project. All construction-related work is complete. We have submitted 7 requests for reimbursement in the total amount of $5,698,876.64. To date, we have received reimbursements totaling $5,339,738.97. No council action required. Road improvement projects. All unfinished road improvement projects have been stopped for the winter. Work will continue in the spring once there are more favorable weather. New improvement projects are in design and will be ready for bidding over the next few months. No council action required. Roadway improvement projects in design. The following major projects are in design and will be ready for bid in the spring: Lake Parsippany Streets, PH 6, Mount Tabor Streets, PH 3, Old Bloomfield Ave, PH 1, Knoll Road improvements, and the 2018 road resurfacing program. Major soil moving permit, Old Bloomfield LLC, Land Rover Jaguar, Block 693, lots 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. The planning board has recommended approval. Approved a major soil moving permit in conjunction with the site plan application at 250 Route 46 West. This office has reviewed the application and recommends Township Council approve the permit. We recommend the Township Council approve the permit by resolution. Moraine Area Streets Phase 2 Road Improvements Projects. The bid opening for the second phase of the Moraine Area Streets Project was held on March 28th. The project is for the reconstruction of roads in the Glacier Hills section of town, including Moraine Road from Drumlin Drive to Glacier Drive, and a rate lane. The improvements include full-depth road reconstruction, widening, drainage improvements, new curbs, and various water and sanitary sewer improvements. The lowest responsible bidder was Midwest Construction with a bid of $1,353,511.68. This firm has satisfactorily completed several projects for us in the past. We recommend Township Council award the project at the April 17th meeting. Old Bloomfield Ave, Phase 1. Road Improvement Project. The bid opening for the first phase of Old Bloomfield Ave Road Improvement Project will be held on April 5th. This project is for the reconstruction of Old Bloomfield Avenue from the Route 80 overpass to Ada Court and includes drainage / sanitary sewer improvements, curb construction, and the paving of the roadway. We anticipate construction to begin in the middle of May. If acceptable bids are received, we will make our recommendation that the Township Council award the project at the April 17th meeting. Capital budget authorization request. Over the past several years, the capital budget has been adopted in June and July. As a result, many of our projects could not be bid until later in the year when the funds were available. This action results in getting higher bid prices and receiving bids from only a limited number of bidders. In addition, contractors already working on other projects as scheduling to start our projects get pushed back. We have been forced to push contractors at the end of the year to get projects completed before the weather turns too cold. We are requesting the Township Council adopt a portion of the engineering budget to allow certain projects to begin earlier in the year. This includes the following capital line items: the 2018 road resurfacing program, $1,700,000, the curb/sidewalk improvements, $220,000, and the Moraine Area Roads Phase 2 project, $1,100,000, for a total of $3,020,000.
And again, this is what I was referring to. This allows us, and again, it's only the capital part of the budget, not the operating part. And again, it's not only gets us to get the best for the least, but it truly gets the job done when it's the best time to pave a street, and not have that freeze and thaw type of condition. Thank you
Thank you.
for that consideration.
Okay, bids taken, March 15th, 2018, supply and installation of the new 75-foot aerial tower and platform body or approved equivalent on a township-supplied new International 7400 chassis for the Parks and Forestry Department. March 28th, 2018, road reconstruction for Moraine Road, Phase 2, Glacier Drive, and Rate Lane. To be taken, April 5th, 2018, improvements to Old Bloomfield Ave. April 12th, 2018, supply of bioxide for the wastewater treatment plant. And April 24th, 2018, Phase 1 rehabilitation of the Smith Baldwin House. Quotations, proposals, qualifications, April 3rd, 2018, request for proposals for clubhouse management and operation services at the Knoll Country Club. Closed session.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss litigation, wildlife preserves, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills that the public be excluded from this meeting. Motion to adjourn into closed section by myself. Second?
Grignani.
Motion made by Mrs. Peterson, seconded by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mrs. Grignani,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy.
Yes.
We are adjourned into closed session. We will be reconvening in a little bit. Thank you. Council President, back on the record.
Motion to reconvene.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mrs. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Grignani,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy.
Yes.
We are back into open session.
Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to open up the public hearing.
Second.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero. Who seconded that motion? Seconded by Mrs. McCarthy. Roll call, Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Grignani,
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy.
Yes.
The floor is open to the public to speak on whatever subject they would like.
Okay. If you do come up, please state your name and address and sign in. You'll be given 5 minutes.
I'll sign in after. Nick Homiak. I have one quick question. Who in this town is the noise control officer? You can, if it's no big hurry to enter that. When Mayor Soriano has his town hall presentation for Lower Lake Hiawatha, I'm going to have to take up a contention with him about the lax sanitation and enforcements that are going on all over the place, but I only live in Parsippany. But the New Jersey Mandatory Source Separation and Recycling Act, here's a letter here put out in 2013 to the businesses along North Beverwick. I guess you could say compared to the way it was, it's much better, but it's still substandard. Uh, there's some, I believe that we're going about it all wrong. And I just want to read something real briefly here. This is from Morris County. Everyone is a waste generator and must keep the recyclable materials listed below separate from garbage, whether at home, at work, or play. If a location does not have separate receptacles for these mandated recyclable materials, speak to the management and tell them recycling is the law. Supposedly, our municipality has done that, but I guess there's a communication breakdown. Waste generators include, but are not limited to, residents, multifamily, single-family, hotels, office buildings, businesses, schools, restaurants, shopping centers, medical facilities, government buildings, recreation areas, and construction sites. Here's what it looks like at the MU Municipal Utility. Beautiful, right? But you ever see anything like that in Parsippany? I know I brought this up before. This is another one. You won't see anything like that in Parsippany. Saving all this for the mayor. And here we have a gas station. Everywhere you look in our town, anybody could throw anything anywhere. There's so many loose ends. And we already have the one stream recycling, so that already discourages any, I guess it's like hopeless, so put it all together and sort it out. But when a business along North Beverwick is allowed to use municipal receptacles for their private business, that should end. And I think a private enterprise or business could do better if they manage their own solid waste. Why should you go to the Kebab Paradise or any place, have a can of soda or water, and then either leave it on the street or the sidewalk or stick it in a municipal container? And they have the two containers, one for waste, one for recycles. They're all mixed. The town alleges that they separate it all. I find it hard to believe. But if you just heard what I read in the beginning, they should have their own. It's like the private is, they're using our taxpayers' money for our, using our waste containers, and then our municipal workers have to come, and especially at a place like the Kebab Paradise, for just one example, how much labor does that entail just to keep them cans clean and everything? And now they're contaminated. The Chinese don't even want our waste anymore because it's contaminated. There's no discipline. Restaurants, food waste, recyclables left in a plastic bag. Got to remember, we had rats there in Parsippany. They can come back at any time with these sanitation conditions, especially with the mixed food in the summertime on the sidewalk. We're getting below the standards. There's a few excuses here. Where are they? I find interesting. See if I can get Morris County's
30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to have time for it all, so I'll take it up with the mayor. But instead of having a resolution about something that never happened about pot, why don't we have a resolution about getting our standard of living and quality of life back here up in Parsippany? And on the marijuana issue, it was strange. There's an author, Emily Dufton, and she's a college professor in New York City, I believe, and she wrote a book, and it's called Grassroots Rise and Fall and Rise of Marijuana in America. We're rehashing the same thing over and over again. You go back 50, 60 years, the government of the United States was saying there's nothing wrong with marijuana. But politics gets involved, and the next thing you know, there's a problem with it again. Nancy Reagan, for example. But, all right, I'll take this up with the mayor.
Thank you.
My name is Bob Venezia. I live at 102 Brooklawn Drive. At the last council meeting, there was a member of the public that revealed some interesting facts about one of the departmental heads that were appointed by this administration. After some research, it seems that that speaker's allegations are all true. All of them can be found in a 2014 consent order issued by the New Jersey Deputy Attorney Patricia Sharipio. In that consent order, the Parsippany employee admitted to violations of the New Jersey Consumer Fraud Act. And he accepted punishments that included a $10,000 fine, 400 hours of community service, and a permanent ban from the restaurant business. A resume of this type should have disqualified the candidate from holding any position of importance in this administration. For whatever reason, the appointment was made, but I want to make it clear that I'm not now asking that any action be taken against this employee. However, I would like to remind you that ultimately, an administration can only be judged by its actions. Filling a position that had been vacant for 14 years with a person of this dubious background will not be remembered as one of this administration's finer moments. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lefty Grimes. I'm from East Hanover. I'd like to speak about the ordinance tonight, the cannabis ordinance. But first I wanted to say that the wheelchair access, the button still doesn't work. I mentioned it last time, it doesn't work. And if you had someone who was sick and dying in a wheelchair here in the room and there was a fire, where are they supposed to go? There's 2 doors here with no ramps. Are we supposed to like throw them out the door? I don't know. That's just something we need to think about. If you're in a wheelchair, you'd kind of be stuck in this room. So I'm just to mention that. We need to keep the sick and dying first and foremost in our mind. I worked for Bell Labs for 21 years, and I worked at Crawford Hill. And I used to hang out with Bob Wilson and play volleyball with Bob Wilson up on top of Crawford Hill. There's a volleyball net up there, and there's the horn antenna. And Bob Wilson did research, and he won a Nobel Prize for his research. And I would ask you, sir, to do the research that a Bell Labs alum would do on the cannabis issue. That's all we're asking, is to do more research. Some of your comments last week made me believe that you didn't do as much research as you probably could have, and I think the people of this town and the sick and the dying, people with cancer, deserve that research from you. There are people here with cancer, there are people here with children with special needs, and they need your help. As a Christian, you have to help these people. When I got into activism, I never thought I would see the things that I've seen here. And it seems like it's a lot of responsibility, and I had to make myself a better activist, and I'm still trying to make myself a better activist because I'm representing people that are dying, and it's a huge task to take on, and it's very sad because a lot of my friends have died. 1 out of 10 patients die every year, and I've lost a lot of friends. And I talked about this last time. My friend Armando, he couldn't afford cannabis, and there was no cannabis in his area in Newark, so he got it off the street for his cancer. And he shouldn't have had to do that. It's stress. And if you know about cancer, you know stress is the worst thing for cancer. Very bad. And the fact that patients have to come up here and beg for their lives for you guys, it's stressful. And it's very important that you guys listen to them, because they are begging for their lives. Some of these people have to drive an hour and a half to get their medicine, or their families have to drive an hour and a half to get their medicine. That's not right, because they choose not to take OxyContin. They choose not to take fentanyl. I was on OxyContin for 10 years. I lost my Bell Labs job. I was on Bell Labs for 21 years. I can't work there anymore because I fell and I broke my back. And I was on opiates for 10 years. I was on OxyContin, roxicodone, Valium. My roxicodone prescription was 90 milligrams every 3 hours. So if I can get off OxyContin and roxicodone with my level of pain, I have stenosis, I have an artificial disc, I have a fusion. If I can get off OxyContin, anybody can. And it's an exit drug for me. And I need a dispensary close to me. I have to drive an hour out of my way right now to get my cannabis. And I would love to come to Parsippany to buy my cannabis here, and I would love to use your restaurants and come here. And I would just ask, if you do get a dispensary in Parsippany, please have wheelchair access. They shall grow not old. as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Mr. Grimes, I just want to just address the issue of the wheelchair access. We do keep that door open, but I did notice today that the button on the inside does work, but you are correct, the button on the outside does not. So we will work in an expedient manner to get that fixed immediately, just so you're aware.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Rose McGill from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, regarding the cannabis issue. When you try to ban, outlaw, or restrict the use of cannabis as a medicine, you are contributing to an 81-year campaign that has been run under false pretense. The United States government ran a coordinated campaign with the big money, high pollution industries of the day to remove cannabis and hemp from the farming industry because it stood in the way of their profits. And they used Mexicans and other minorities as their tool to scare and brainwash the people. This plant is an environmentally safe alternative that can be used, most importantly, as a safe medicine, but also a healthy food. It can be used to replace fossil fuels, steel, building materials, paper, plastic, body care products, and nutritional supplements. And it cleans the soil as it grows. Instead, by banning it, we are stuck in the toxic pollution and the deadly pharmaceutical nightmare we live in today. The cheap, high pollution industries have poisoned our air, land, drinking water, rivers, oceans, our seafood, and our entire food chain, which are all laced with toxic chemicals. We have birth control and every other synthetic drug flowing into our drinking water. At this rate, we're going to pollute the human race out of existence, and soon enough. Cannabis is one of the most complex and versatile plants on the planet, and has been used by humans as long as Earth itself. And we are not going to stop now because a few towns in New Jersey want to ban it. Banning it has a proven statistical record of complete failure. So I would recommend that instead of banning it and trying to hide it from people, that you face it head on, learn about its uses, learn why people want it, teach your citizens the truth about it, and learn how to use it and prescribe it properly. Stop using people's lives to run up your arrest numbers and your economic numbers and your incarceration rates. Stop force-feeding people toxic combinations of synthetic drugs. Stop polluting my food and water. As with every living thing on this planet, cannabis was put on this earth for a reason. It is part of our ecosystem for a reason. When you remove it from the chain, you disrupt life itself. As a medicine, it restores the body to equilibrium and homeostasis. Your body was designed to receive THC and CBD. That is why it stays in your system for 30 days, because it is good for your health. It is called the endocannabinoid system. When cannabis was banned, we lost 80 years worth of research and are now still virtually ignorant of its full power. Do not go down as a contributor to this disgraced history. If you want to contribute to the health of your community, you should welcome a dispensary and a learning center to go along with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No.
Hi, everybody. I'm Timothy Finnerty with 67 Smithfield Court, Basking Ridge, New Jersey. How are you? I'll sign in. want to talk about this great opportunity with cannabis. I myself have lost 175 pounds using medical marijuana instead of psychotropic medications for childhood-induced PTSD. I come from one of those alcoholic homes that were really bad. My brother even shot me when I was 13 years old with a .38, framed me for it. He was an opioid addict at the time. That's when Big Pharma really gave out the opioids, back when I was around 13 years old. My brother got hooked on them when he got his hand injured while he was working his way through college at King's Supermarket in Summit, New Jersey. I am the last of a family of addicts that have died. I'm the youngest, but I have about 30 years of recovery in 12-step rooms. And I gotta tell you, 20 years of those recovery were polluted by psych meds. They sold me everything from Seroquel to ADD meds to antidepressants to Ambien. We all got mixed up. And somewhere along the way, and let me give you some credentials as well. I have a master's degree from Rutgers University in HR, the top school in the country. I also attended Seton Hall University to get a counseling and psychology master's, where I gained the Chi Sigma Iota Award for having the top grades in the class. Yet I was disabled on the psychiatric meds to the point where I was up to 326 pounds and legally disabled. And the doctors thought I was far gone, bipolar, untreatable, and I didn't have to work, and I collected alimony from an ex-wife and basically was disabled for many years. Some 4 years ago, my doctor contracts colon cancer and dies. Another doctor picks me up and says, "You were a gunshot victim at the age of 13. Help me understand why you were never diagnosed with PTSD." Gives me a medical cannabis card, and I say, "I'm in 12-step recovery, and I'm a trained psychologist. Are you kidding me?" So I challenged myself to come off everything. And I used the 12-step to come off the 8 psych meds, dairy, sugar, wheat, caffeine, every addiction you can think of. I wanted to test this the whole way. You guys have the Graceway drug here. It's not even a drug. It's a flower bud that's going to get us off the drugs. And this is a heck of an opportunity to help enhance the wellness of our mental health, because cannabis works much better than the psych meds. It's a heck of an opportunity to enhance and green up New Jersey, because I think it's going to lead to a wealthier wellness. From an employment side, my master's in HR. I used to work at IBM Corporation next to Trump Tower. And I see this as the iPhone of the intoxicants. This is a medicine that you're about to unleash to compete against alcohol, tobacco, gambling, and all the other isms. I think it's the harmonizer, and I think you have a heck of an opportunity. And I applaud the fact that you're thinking about putting up an ATC. And to be honest with you, I think Governor Murphy's aiming this right at the mark, because it's going to be the cure for addiction, in my opinion. And it's an educated guess. It's working in my life, and I can't wait to show people on how to balance their own moods and harmonize themselves with this plan. We've held back the research on this far too long. We've demonized our Graceway flower buds. We should be buying flowers for each other instead of drugs. I really look forward to seeing this opportunity go through. Thanks for your time.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jeffrey Oakes. I'm from Oceanport, New Jersey, 60 Pemberton Avenue. My thoughts aren't really fluid this evening. I had a long ride up here with my wife. Today I finished 3 aggressive rounds of chemotherapy for my cancer. Tomorrow I go right back in the morning for my 27th round of chemotherapy. 2 years ago, I was told I had 2 months to live. Through traditional treatment with chemo and radiation therapy and surgery, along with the use of medical cannabis, I'm still here. Sometimes I ask myself why, I don't know. But I'm here. And I'm here with a wonderful bunch of people that care. They care about the human spirit. They care about taking care of the disabled, and the people that are compromised and can't take care of themselves. And I'm one of those, I'm disabled. Went through a long period of fighting my way through the system, getting Social Security. It's been a battle for me. But with this ban, and how it affects this essential medicine, medication that we're all asking, for everyone to accept and remove the stigma and help us with access to this. And the Board of Health and the state of New Jersey is on board, and the governor is on board with expanding access. But when plenty of people here, the group that we're loosely affiliated with, the groups, we've been to multiple council meetings, and the tone is that a lot of towns just don't want anything to do with marijuana. And that mentality, as far as the medical side of it goes, it inhibits the expansion of the program and the timing of it, and it makes it difficult. And it translates into higher prices, which are exorbitant already. So what I'm asking is maybe take a step back, and we've seen a couple towns separate the two issues, rec and medical. And it seems to me that a lot of council people that we're talking to in these towns find it a reasonable thing to be educated on the medical side. And to remove the stigma that, we're not a bunch of stoners here. I mean, this is, by now, this is a viable medication. I mean, everyone's heard about it for pain and nausea, for cancer treatment. And it treats a whole multitude of other diseases, which you're going to hear probably tonight. So I'm just asking, to maybe step back and give it a chance and educate yourselves. You're going to hear from some folks here probably tonight that they're affiliated with the dispensaries, and they can even offer tours, but that's their part. You'll hear from them. But I would appreciate the education and the compassion that I see in some of your faces here tonight. And I appreciate your time. Have a good evening. Thank you.
God bless
Thank
you.
I'll make a comment after the open session.
Hello, my name's Mary Oakes. I am Jeff's wife. I'm also asking that you table this medical cannabis until you do a lot more research on it. In our town in Oceanport, we did have one councilwoman who did go to the dispensary, and she was blown away at what she saw. She had no idea. The security in there is marvelous. It's all, ex-police officers. People think that there's drug addicts and homeless people waiting to jump you outside a dispensary. That's what we're hearing in our town. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Jeff and I are also dealing with a 22-year-old son who had a horrific car accident 2 weeks after Jeff was told he had 2 months to live. And he was in the trauma unit at Jersey Shore in a coma, and he was put on 5 different oxys, different medications for pain. He was also put on Xanax. Xanax is what he got hooked on. Xanax is what he started buying on the street. Jeff and I went and got him a medical marijuana card, took him to a doctor. He's also in counseling, and he's doing magnificent now. I mean, I'm not going to jump for joy because I know how the relapse goes on that, but I just hope that everybody is really listening, and this isn't like, Cheech and Chong up in smoke and, reefer madness back in the 30s. That is not today. So please think long and hard, please, before you make a decision to ban it in the town. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Richard Morosky. I'm from Spotswood, New Jersey. I live at 105 George Street. 24 years ago, I went to work one day and I went to lunch. and I blinked my eyes and was completely blind. I went to the doctor, and make a very long story short, I found out I have multiple sclerosis versus having a tumor. I've been on a veritable cornucopia of different drugs. Everything from very simple, this is hard to talk about, you'll have to pardon me. Everything from very simple steroids to self-injected low-dose chemo. You might be thinking to yourself, what the hell is this guy driving all the way up here for? Because 16 months ago, prior to 16 months ago, I'd been trapped in my home for 3 years, literally, due to my malady. I'm here because I know probably within driving distance of this meeting, there's someone just like me, wondering how the hell am I going to get myself out of this mess? I can't stop taking these pills. The doctor says. I think it would behoove this township that they have an alternative treatment center, a cannabis dispensary right here in Parsippany. I think there's plenty of people who would benefit from it. I think more so than that, there are jobs that are going to be surrounding this particular issue. With those jobs, people are going to be consumers, and they're going to be spending their money they're going to make right here in Parsippany. There are other people who are probably going to talk more in detail about it. I know that there's fears. This is a very nice town, and there are some really nice people who live here. And I understand, like, as a council, you may be thinking branding. How's this going to brand our town? I think it'll brand your town as a safe place to come to get a medicine that won't kill you. Cannabis is 100% not toxic. It cannot kill you. The only way it could probably kill you is if a bale of it fell on you. That would probably be the only way that it could kill you. I take an incredibly concentrated form of cannabis. I will go into some detail about it if you'd like to know. But what I can tell you is the fear of dying from this, I would have been dead 500 times over by now. I think it's really important that we also remember in doing this, Parsippany becomes a better neighbor to the surrounding townships. A far better neighbor. A neighbor that's on the cutting edge of this social justice issue that I think some people will also talk about. As we well know, there's a disparaging amount of arrests in communities that are not Caucasian. Flat out not Caucasian, they get targeted. We all know that stuff. Today, consequently, I got some pretty interesting information. This is from a medical journal called JAMA, which stands for Journal of American Medical Association. What they have found is states that have active dispensaries saw 3.74 million fewer daily doses of opiates filled. Let that sink in. I will repeat that. States with active dispensaries saw a 3.742 million fewer daily doses of opiates filled. They looked at another statistic, and what it says here is that adult medical marijuana laws and adult use of marijuana laws were associated with lower opioid prescribing rates, ranging from 3 to 5% lower. So that tells me, if you guys really want to be socially active and you want to help out some of these people who are really caught in a bind, you have the way out. Cannabis is an exit drug. I no longer take any SSRIs, I take no Xanax, I take no pain medication whatsoever. I have intractable, constant, furious pain. I'm in it right now. I regretted having to sit in a car for an hour and 30 minutes to get here because I heard. After this meeting, I'm probably going to go medicate, and guess what? I am going to be able to get in my car and drive home and not have to pull over 15 times. Or to straighten my fingers, or I'm sorry.
Sir, you have 30 seconds left.
Right
It's
on.
okay.
I thank you very much for taking an open mind. Please, be a good neighbor. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Don Karpowicz. I'm a retired special operator in the Air Force. I'm a combat controller. Really hard to explain what we did for what I did for a living and what my brothers are doing to this day. And at this moment, they're being killed and killing people at this moment. That's happening right now. So I just want to let you, I have a documentary. I've been an activist for quite some time. And there's a mini documentary about my story that has been in the Asbury Park Press. Star Ledger owns it. Gannett owns it. Anyway, Bergen Record. I would like you to watch my, it's a mini documentary, about 3 minutes long. Can you see that?
I think we need to hit the lights a little bit.
I can't see it. I have to stand up.
Just my brother. We were tight. Why was I chosen to be the one on the ground? Why? Why me?
Better.
I miss my brother. We were tight. I'll be somewhere and I'll see something and I'm right back. There was snow on the ground. I wasn't dressed for it. If I get cold, get shaky, like I'm cold, you know, I actually physically feel it. I physically feel that I'm there. It's not that I'm there just in my mind. I really physically feel that I'm there. It's a sadness. It's like my brother is dead. You know, like, what did I have to do with it? Why am I here? And that might last a few minutes. That might last a few days. One of our jobs is to make sure that the aircraft gets to where it's supposed to be. I knew where they should have been popping out of the clouds right about, and they were off course. So I guided him, get him all nice and lined up. As he flies over top the aircraft, I could see Snake Rainey in the door. He was the jump master. There were only probably
George, re-listen to this.
800 to 1,000. I could see him in the door, and I gave the execute, which means go, you know, let him go. They didn't go. I gave the execute again. At that point, the pilot said, we're going to go out and back around and try it again. All right, no biggie. Kept the contact. And on the way back in, he hit a mountain. Time was of the essence. There might be somebody alive. First guy I walked up on, and he was folded in half, and he was laying there kind of looking up.
He was my team leader.
I don't know how long I just stood there because it was the first one I saw, but it probably wasn't long because it was like, he's dead. Next. So then we went right through each one, you know, to make sure that, okay, dead first, you know, like make sure there were 18 people total on that aircraft.
One Spanish pilot.
He dug a hole in the ground with his heel. So he lived for a little bit, you know, trying to get out.
That's one that haunts me.
And he's a good brother. He's a good brother. Back then, therapy was get back on the horse, get back to work. Feel bad for you, give you a week or so. That's what they did.
I'm smoking a bowl right now on the screen.
I'm 100% disabled veteran, permanently total from post-traumatic stress. Cannabis helps me. Give it to me. Simple as that. I want to live a peaceful life.
This was prior to
I don't want to live
PTSD being
a
added to the
hectic,
list.
crazy, prescription drug-driven life. Getting up, smoking some weed, chilling out. That's the rest of life. That's what I want.
For me, to get my medicine, I have to travel down to Camden, Belmar, New Jersey, to the only place that has the oil that works for me. Regular flour, it's good for a lot of things. The oil is what changed my life. I have to have flour. He knows I'm upset. on, keeps me from wanting to go out and do crazy things and stupid things, like drink alcohol and beat people up and take my frustrations out on other people that don't deserve it. They didn't deserve things that I did to people. I did horrible things when I was on alcohol. Oxycodone, Xanax, Tramadol, Valium, you put them all, I've been on all of them. Alcohol, cocaine, all of that, on top of all of that. I went through all of that, years and years and years. Right now, the only place I can get something that really help me is down in Camden. And I spend $1,000 a month.
Sir, you have
for my medicine.
30 seconds.
I spend $1,000 a month out of my pocket for my medicine. I have to drive down there. I live in Morristown, New Jersey. I would like to come here to a good neighbor and have my medicine here, and I have to go so far. Thank you.
Sir, on behalf of the council and the administration and myself, we just want to thank you for your service to this country.
Yes.
Maybe it's not
Give me 1
working.
second.
Sorry.
Working. Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Okay, here you go.
My name is Amy Roth. I live in Springfield, not far from here, and I bring 4 years of experience in the medical marijuana industry through my own personal research and hands-on experience working at Breakwater Dispensary in Cranberry, New Jersey, one of the 6. I was there for a little under 2 years. I am a New Jersey medical marijuana patient card holder, and I use my personal experience and research to work with individuals who are treating chronic and debilitating conditions through the use of medical cannabis. I also advocate for better policy in New Jersey and have testified in Trenton as recent as 2 weeks ago regarding more access for patients, more dispensaries, medical dispensaries. I have to say that medical marijuana, medical cannabis has dramatically changed my life in a humongous way. For one, I no longer live in constant pain from intractable musculoskeletal spasticity, back pain. I no longer have 100% widespread nerve pain from head to toe because of fibromyalgia. But the best one for me is I don't take Ambien anymore. Ambien is the sleep pill that some people can handle and some people can't. I was able to, and therefore I took it every single night, year after year, which is not how it's prescribed. I haven't taken that in years. Instead, I use a strain specific for sleeping. What I do is make my own butter and my own edibles. And an hour before I go to sleep, with my specific strain, an hour before I go to sleep, I have a little cookie or brownie or whatever, and I sleep for 6 solid hours. It's not an induced sleep like Ambien. It is 6 healthy, wonderful hours. And it has, that has changed my life. I use different strains for different reasons, different times of day, just like I explained with, to replace the Ambien. I have figured out a regime that works for me with the fibromyalgia, with the sleeping, with the widespread pain. just a little background. I am a commercial space planner and